What if the most peaceful night you've ever imagined was actually filled with stress, uncertainty, and desperation? No perfect silence, no glowing halos, no calm, picture-perfect scene, just a crowded town, a young couple with nowhere to go, and a moment that would quietly change the world forever. It started far from Bethlehem, in a small, ordinary place called Nazareth. There lived a young woman named Mary. She wasn't someone people would expect to be part of a history-changing story. She had no wealth, no influence, no special status, just a simple life and a future she thought she understood. She was engaged to Joseph, a hardworking carpenter who lived quietly and honestly. Together, they planned a normal life, but life had other plans. Mary received a message that changed everything. She was told she would give birth to a child, someone special, someone whose purpose went far beyond anything she could imagine. Think about that moment. No explanation that fully made sense, no proof she could show others, just a message and a choice, fear or faith, and somehow she chose faith. Joseph's world turned upside down too. When he found out Mary was pregnant, confusion filled his mind. In that time, this wasn't just shocking, it could ruin everything. But Joseph wasn't quick to judge. He chose kindness. And then came a moment that changed his decision. He understood that this situation wasn't ordinary. It was part of something much bigger. So instead of walking away, he stayed. Then came the journey that would lead to one of the most talked about nights in history. A decree required everyone to return to their ancestral towns. For Joseph, that meant traveling to Bethlehem, and so they went. The road was long, the nights were cold, and Mary was close to giving birth. Every step must have been exhausting, every mile filled with quiet worry. What if the baby comes early? Will we make it in time? But they had no choice. They kept going, because sometimes life pushes you forward, even when you're not ready. Finally, they reached Bethlehem. But instead of relief, they found chaos. The town was packed. Travelers filled every corner. Inns were full. Doors were closed. Imagine the feeling. You've just completed a long, painful journey. You're tired. You're worried. And now, there's nowhere to stay. They knocked on doors, asked for help, waited for someone to say yes, but the answer kept coming back the same. Time was running out. Mary needed a place now. And then, finally, they found something. Not a home, not an inn, but a simple shelter where animals were kept. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't clean. It wasn't what anyone would hope for. But it was enough. And sometimes, enough is all you get in life's most important moments. That night, in that humble place, everything changed. Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ. No crowd, no celebration, no royal welcome, just a quiet moment. A newborn wrapped in cloth and placed in a manger. If you walked past that place, you wouldn't notice anything special. But that's the thing about powerful moments. They don't always look powerful. Not far from there, a group of shepherds were watching over their flocks. Ordinary people, simple lives, nothing extraordinary. Until suddenly, something broke their routine. A bright light, a message of joy. News about a child who had just been born. They were told where to go. When they arrived, they didn't find a palace. They found exactly what they were told. A baby. In a manger. In a place no one would expect. And yet, they knew this moment mattered. So what really happened that night in Bethlehem? It wasn't perfect. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't the way people imagine it today. It was real, messy, uncertain, unexpected. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because the story of that night isn't just about a birth. It's about what that birth represents. That greatness can come from the most unlikely places. That your situation doesn't define your future. That even when everything feels uncertain, something meaningful can still happen. Think about it. The most influential figure in history started life in a place meant for animals. The story that would inspire billions began with rejection and struggle. So next time you think about that night in Bethlehem, don't just picture a calm, glowing scene. Picture the journey, the closed doors, the exhaustion, the fear, Because behind that quiet moment was a powerful truth. Sometimes the nights that feel the hardest become the moments that change everything. And that's what really happened. Not perfection, not comfort, but a beginning so unexpected that the world is still talking about it today.